hands. It takes a village, right?
Is it a myth that the divorces went up from COVID?
I don't know.
Or Florida wasn't quite locked down.
Yeah,
so.
you know what? I tried to figure that out, and I couldn't find stats that conclusively told me that. I didn't see any change. I mean, I saw some change in postponed filings.
Right. It might have been an illusion that afterwards, because the courts were so backed up.
Yes,
and so
and they still are.
Right, and so it looked like a spike.
Yeah.
Did you were you able to do it the whole time? Did they do it online here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so out of something bad comes something good, right? So we in our office always had Zoom because I found that clients wanted privacy. I had one lady get in the elevator once to come to my office. Guess who was in the elevator? Her husband.
Oh, man.
And couldn't explain it at all. Why was she there? She was a stay-at-home mom and housemaker and all that. And
why was he there?
Well, he was visiting somebody at one of the offices there.
And so she had no
idea. And I thought, ooh, this isn't good. So we got Zoom in place. But the courts now do most of the hearings, non-evidentiary hearings and smaller hearings by Zoom. Great for clients.
Yeah.
Not always good for I had a 5-day trial. You can't do that by Zoom. I mean, is it possible? Yes, but it's going to add another 3 days onto it. How do you show somebody a document, Right. It's really challenging.
They're not jury trials, right?
No, they're just judge.
They're just the judge.
Yeah, just the judge.
How often, so a woman comes to you, or a man, and they say, I'm thinking about getting divorced. Do you try and tell them how to sock some money away for the divorce process? Because some people don't have access to, like you brought up the woman was sneaking the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough to sneak the bill, the retainer.
It is. Yeah. So listen, everybody out there, have your own money, have your own resources, just in case. You never know. And I could get into a whole topic on that one, but because I have 3 girls, so I'm always telling them, make sure you're your own person, which I learned from my mother.
Right.
But the answer is you need your funds, and we try to, we're not like some lawyers are like, hey, the retainer's 10 grand and that's what it is. And no, it's not a one size fits all because I may be able to do the divorce and be more flexible or have different arrangements. It depends. So,
but you must charge more if it's a wealthy couple, right?
No, but you have more resources available, right? So all the billing's the same. It's just,
it is?
Yeah. It's just you're going to probably have some more complicated issues, maybe with valuation problems.
And that'll rack up the hours.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you do if you're the woman and she hasn't had her own resources?
Right.
It's old school traditional marriage.
Yeah.
Are you like, I'll get this on the back end?
No, I don't personally do that. And I don't know many good family lawyers that do or board certified lawyers, but
it's not an injury attorney.
No, exactly. You can't. In some cases, for like collection of arrearage and support, we can do that. I don't personally do it, but some lawyers do, and that's permitted. But you will get to a temporary relief hearing, and you will ask the court to impose attorney's fees and costs, and based on need and ability. So you have to jump through like about probably 60, 90 days of work.
Are people pretty good with making the payments they're supposed to make, or does that depend on the state?
They are with my firm.
Okay. Certain states are tougher too. Certain states want, some is criminal and some are civil.
Yeah. I mean, here the judges understand what it takes to get a case through, and they understand the issues. And if it's complicated, you need experts involved. I mean, some cases you got, valuation cases where you have a lot of businesses and you got to bring an expert in. It's like doing a value for any purpose.
Yeah. What does somebody do who they own a business together?
Yeah.
What happens there?
One person is going to get it. If you go to trial. Now, some cases, they have agreements to work together. I have one couple, they are in business together post-divorce, and they chose to be in business because they are amazing business partners together.
And then maybe if their business fell apart, then neither one's going to get any money.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
They both have an interest, right?
Huh. What, the most common... Is there a length of time of marriage that it's kids aside? We brought up that they turn 17.
Right.
Is it the 3 to 5 year part where most divorces happen, or is it quicker or longer?
Longer. Yeah, from my experience. So I think it's somewhere around the 7 year itch.
That's a real thing.
No, it's a real thing. Because you're still in the honeymoon stage, right?
Right.
And you start settling into more complacency after a period of time. So. Yeah, 7+. I have a lot of long-term marriages too, which is anything over 18 years.
What's the longest
marriage I ever
can
had?
you say? You can say
over 50 years they were married. I had one
And
lady.
she wanted to go back out and he was pooped out. Is that right?
Let me tell you, I had one lady come to me, and this is a recent case, and she's in her 80s, and she said, I am not going to die married to him.
Yeah.
And you know what? She has a right. She has a
Right. And sometimes that's, the energy levels, the health levels.
And remember, in Florida, you get 50% if you get through a divorce, right? You get 50% generally from the assets, right? It's like a net worth statement, divide it in half. You get 30% if the person, as an estate through probate. So
Right.
30 versus 50. Sometimes they get divorced because they want that higher percentage.
Yeah.
Now they can do what they want with it.
Right.
There's a lot of times there's issues with older children. They align with one parent over the other.
Over 50, over 30 years and they get divorced, it's generally more amicable, or it's hard to say?
It's hard to say. It's the same.
What's the quickest you've dealt with?
Quickest divorce?
Like they got married on Friday and they're in there on Monday?
That's called an annulment. And hopefully they didn't have relations.
Well, can you get annulled? Can you get annulled for no reason?
No, it has to be based on like fraud.
What if we had never lived together before,
Right.
we got married, honeymoon, we moved together. I can't believe he puts his socks on the floor. I cannot deal with this.
You're going to have to,
Have you had an under 30 days and you're like, this isn't working?
I have had a few like that, but they're rare. They're rare.
So it's the sweet spot is the 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years plus, 7 to like 18. When they come to me after like 20 plus years, I'm like, really? Really? So I really try to make sure that this is what they really need to do, want to do, should do.
How often are you like, oh my God, I'm on the other person's side, but this is my job as a lawyer. Like you're a terrible wife or you're a terrible husband, but I got to do my job. But oh man.
I don't take every case that comes through the door because I've had people that have agendas and I can pretty much spot that. So, or personalities that don't match with mine, because I'm going to be a straight shooter and I'm going to tell you the way it is. I'm not going to just do it to get paid.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, listen, you got to clean that, up.
Right.
Because that personality isn't going to do well for me, for you, or for your case. So I try to get a little control there, client control, and then sometimes it doesn't work out and we're just not a good match.
Or you're like, of course he's going to divorce you.
Or I look at them and I'm like, okay, I get this.
Yeah. Or it's like, oh yeah, I see what you were doing.
Oh boy, I've had those. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every divorced woman thinks she happened to marry a narcissist.
Right.
That's statistically, it's like, oh my God, there's such bad luck for everybody.
You know what? That term is used so often here. I think overused.
It is statistically, it's like 2% of people are clinical narcissists, and,
Right.
and I'm like, maybe
Everybody's a narcissist.
Maybe he just didn't like you,
Yes.
or maybe he's just a jerk, or how often are the guys like, you know what? She really did just want my money. And is the courts like too bad? Like you didn't realize that? It's too bad, right?
Courts are too bad. It's a mathematical calculation.
Right.
What are the assets at that date of marriage, date of filing? And
That's
we're gonna
it.
divide it.
If she not quite married you under false pretenses, but the I love yous were probably not as binding as you thought they were.
Look, and we have a lot of second time marriages where the older person is marrying somebody younger, typically and the writing's on the wall. I mean, not every case.
Right.
But very often, but love comes in different forms, and maybe being taken care of and protected and knowing you're financially secure is valuable and has,
That's starting to change more too. There's more women in that situation.
Absolutely.
There's more sugar mamas than there used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially down here where she has her late husband, ex-husband's money, and then she's like, I'm going to have fun with the young guy, and then he had spent 2 years, and then...
That's it.
I know. What is the thing that people be surprised to learn about getting divorced? The process of it, or...
Surprised about it. It's really not that complicated.
Really?
Yeah. If you can, and that's why being a life coach too is a helpful, I think, asset for my clients. But if they don't use me for life coaching and they have a therapist, look, there's the emotions of divorce, and it really needs to be separate and apart from the divorce and your lawyer. But the divorce itself, pretty simple. It's not challenging. It's all those emotions. So the biggest myth is it's really not that bad. I know you feel it is when you're in it,
Right.
but the process itself, Not overly complicated.
The process has been honed over time by the courts and lots of lawyers. And
Absolutely.
They get it. I was in why is there such a plethora of injury attorney advertising?
I don't know.
Was there a law change or something that it's every billboard now? There used to not be
in the morning. I mean,
there used to be liquor. There used to be a ban on liquor advertising on television, and then that went away, and we see more of it. So nothing changed, and suddenly everybody's a personal injury attorney.
Yeah, I mean,
I went through that. I was in a car accident a couple years ago. I broke 13 ribs and a lot of other things.
Sorry.
Ribs are nebulous. They hurt a lot. But
they're recoverable.
So they said, right.
There's no damage.
There's no surgery.
There's no ultimate, right. And you can
It's tough to rack up the bills on it. And so it's one of those things. So the lawyer's like, by the time we get to court on this, you're going to be fine.
You know,
and it's hard to describe how much it hurt.
That's what my ex-husband does. And you'll have a horrific accident, you know, and I'm sure it was extremely, you know, painful, and you lost wages and time and all that. But if you can recover physically, then you don't have the damages, the permanent damage.
Right.
From what I know, because that's not my expertise.
You know, because I know. So it's like by the time if you heal, people are like, oh, yeah, broken ribs, terrible. It sucks. I'm like, I had 13 of them. And they're like, yeah, you're fine now. So we had to settle it long before we went to court, because the longer we waited, the more healed I was. I know.
Thank God, right?
I know. Thank God.
It's a good thing, too.
It was a good thing, but I was surprised at how, well, this was worth this, and this is worth this, and then there's pain and suffering, and here's the insurance, and here's what they were. It was very, very, like, people had gone through this a million times.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. This is your first time on the podcast.
Yeah.
We play something with our guests called worst date or first date. So you have to think back to your swinging single days.
Okay.
Give me either the worst date you've ever had or the best first date you've ever had. Your choice.
First best date.
Yes.
Or best first date.
Either the best first date or a terrible date of any
best
number.
First.
Okay.
And I can see him from where I'm sitting right now.
Oh, good.
My husband, my current husband. We met on July 3rd, 12 years ago. And we met for lunch and at the mall here, and I got out, you know, of work at the time, and we spent I canceled my entire day. Mm-hmm. And the next day, that was on a Friday, July 3rd, and I saw him the next day, and I got married in 4 months.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing chemistry, just like safety chemistry. I can't even explain.
How long were you single?
Oh, a couple years.
Couple years.
Yeah, and I had dated, you know, the here and there, but I was never really a dating type. I'm busy. So, and I have 3 young children.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but, fireworks.
Date, fireworks the next night.
Yeah.
4 months later.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Can I ask where you met?
Yeah, we met at the Grand Lux.
The restaurant?
Yeah, at the mall.
Which mall is that?
On Town Center.
Oh, yeah, right here in Boca Raton.
Yeah.
There, it all goes down right here at Boca Raton.
It all goes down there. And, so.
Good for you.
That was it, yeah.
All right, where can everybody find you if they need a lawyer or listen to your podcast?
Okay, so it's Your Divorce, Your Amazing Divorce. And then my email address is Doreen Yaffa, and the last name is spelled YAFFA at yaffafamilylawgroup.com. And 561-276-3880.
Good job. This was fun. I've never been married or divorced, but now I'm not so scared of either.
Okay, just remember prenup.
Noted. See, that to me would be hard. I'm like, I just slip it across the table at Grand Lux on the first date.
It's okay. It's not for everybody.
That's not for everybody, but you're right.
I can try.
Logistically, at least you have something. The worst thing is like, you don't have anything. Like prenup, like sure.
Right, true. That's true.
All right, as far as us, like, share, follow. Please review not just Your Amazing Divorce, but our podcast too. Your reviews mean a lot in the podcasting ecosystem. Shoot us an email, greatlovedebate@gmail.com if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, or divorce horror stories. We might do a whole episode on that. Go to greatlovedebate.com. Check out our live tour schedule. I don't know what's on it, but details for the Great Love Deboat out on the big cruise ship is happening soon. Because as always, at the Great Love Debate, we never stop making love. See you next time.